All right, there you go. Okay. We live,
Okay,
right?
we live now. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, you guys, I want y'all to come on in, come on in, come on in. I want y'all to come on and take a walk with me and my brother Danny O'Hara.
Right, right,
Everybody
right,
know that's my brother. Me and Danny been contemplating on writing a book for so long, but instead of writing a book, we think we'll move quicker and do better just doing a live podcast.
right,
So the topic of this podcast is come take a walk in our shoes.
right.
We got a long, long, long walk to go, but I want y'all to shrink up your shoes. Don't get tired. Just walk with us. We
Just
can
walk
take
with
a
right,
break. We can take a break. We can get us a water break, but just come walk with us a little bit.
right, right. We have some good information for y'all. This right here probably can help a few people deal with depression or what they call it, or stress with certain parts of your life or whatever the case may be. Me personally, I really couldn't. I can't identify with depression. I just don't know what it is because I never felt it, and if I have, I don't know anything about it because some of the things that we're gonna talk about. Um, you know, y'all gonna be wondering yourself like, what the hell? Because it's amazing what we've been through, me and my sister, and then later on, we got some other stuff coming up with our two younger sisters that will happen to us a second time. So but I'm gonna let my sister start it off because she like to talk and she have
He talk more than me too.
yeah. Both of us is very detailed in our story on what we're gonna bring to you guys, and walking in our shoes because it's a hell of a walk. That's all I can tell you. So I'm gonna let Nikki kick this thing off, and we're gonna start off in about like 19, I'll say 80. We're going how what our parents used to do in the places that we used to travel. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you have that one, Nikki. Let you start it off, and then we're gonna go from there and trade,
switch out and stuff.
switch out and stuff right there.
Okay, to those who don't know me, I'm the daughter of Lucille O'Hara, and I'm the daughter of Lee Curtis Tarver. Everybody mostly know my father. My mother was a real laid back person. She really didn't hang out as much. She had a handful of friends that she deal with. But when me and Danny was smaller, I was the youngest. I was the baby girl. Danny was the oldest, but it was only two of us. We come from a very, very large family on my father's side. My mother's mother only had three kids, but on my father's side, it was a whole bunch of them. So my daddy
It
last
was, it
name
was, it
was
was it was
Carver.
like 12 of them, running 12,
Yeah,
13, 14 of them.
I think it's probably like 10, if I'm not much sure. We ain't getting the count right, but it was a lot of them. My
Right,
father's last name was Tarver, but he's really a Streeter, Oliver, and Pug. My
right.
grandmama got the last name Tolliver from, what was his name, Danny?
She married a guy named Fred Tarver, but her maiden name before
Was
then was
Streeter.
Queenie Tarver. No, no, no. I'm sorry, Queenie Streeter.
Yeah, Queen Streeter. Okay. And me and Danny, we to be honest with y'all, me and Danny actually had a good life. If it was bad, we didn't recognize a bad life.
Right, right, right,
Because we probably did have a bad life, but our parents kept it covered so good so we didn't even much realize it.
right, right,
So
right,
but the life we lived, we was around a lot of people all the time. We kept a lot of people at our house. But me and Danny being a child, we always knew our place. When grown folks come around, we know to go to the back or go outside and play. We never sat up under grown people.
right,
But
right,
as we got older, we kind of started catching on to what was going on, but we never questioned what was going on.
right, 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 right.
Long as
Exactly.
it didn't interfere our happy life, we never questioned it. So, but I remember my grandmama Queenie stayed on Avenue J. It was a brick duplex apartment, stayed right on Avenue J, right across the street from Bentley Store. If anybody know where Bentley Store at,
Right,
my
right.
grandmama had a duplex, and she had a big old. Well, it was a big old tree. Most all her friends sat up under the tree. So at this time, was we living on Power Line then? When we used to come and see her?
Yeah, no, actually, right there we was living on Avenue M, but even before then, right there on A Street, she was it was a 2-story house that she used to live there before she went down there to the apartments on Avenue J. I think you probably was a little bit
See,
young.
I
You know,
don't remember that.
you know
See.
what I'm saying? 'Cause me and you used to play on the stairs all the time. Cause we was
Hmm.
with her out of all the grandkids. We was with her majority of the time, all the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But from there, that's when we transitioned down to Avenue M, and she stayed right there on the corner of Avenue K. It wasn't J, it was Avenue K right there
Oh
on the
yeah, cause Jay was the street over. Okay.
right. She stayed on Avenue K right there. And what happened to you? Your phone, your camera went out. But yeah,
Second.
so from there, our parents was pretty much drug dealers. That's pretty much how we lived our life. We lived around that environment. We was exposed to a lot of things, but a lot of things was kept from us too. But they didn't hide. When it came down to sexual activity, no, we wasn't involved in that. But anything else, we was like right there in the mix. So they didn't keep a lot of things from us, and that's one of the things that we're gonna get into as this story go on and on. And it gets good. It gets good.
So I remember um, we stayed on Avenue M. What did we come home from school that day, Danny, when they had then got robbed in the broad daylight?
Yeah, what happened is, we did come home from school that day. My mom came and picked us up from school that day and let us know that somebody had robbed the house. So yeah, you know how that goes. So yeah, but that what happened.
Yeah. Then after that, they robbed. So we never did ask questions. You know, back then you don't ask questions why they getting robbed and all that. But we had a good time. We used to always throw parties at the house on Avenue M. A lot of people always hung over to the house. I mean, we just had a good life. At this time, that's when my cousin Tim used to come over a lot and play
Right.
with us. And I never forget, Lord have mercy, Danny turned the eye on the stove. And did you ask him to touch the stove, or he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
ran up and crazy?
No, I turned this eye on, and I told him to put his hand up there, and he burnt his hand. And it left a dang on work the round circles in his hand.
And you won't believe he stuck his hand up down that hot stove and it burnt his hand. But it was the things we used to do when we were small. It was
Right.
just crazy stuff. And then I never forget one morning we was in the car. I don't know if I hit the gear, Danny hit the gear, we didn't hit the gear sitting in the car, and we didn't roll back and ran over our neighbor's trellis gate.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
remember that?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
car
When the car
ran,
started going backward. Yeah.
car ran backwards. I mean, we used to do all kind of stuff like that. And then back then, I know for a fact my daddy wasn't the favorite person because it have been several times I have been in the car with him, and it was this little store uptown called TJNY,
Right. Right. Right.
and I'll never forget. And to this day, he met this female that she still living to this day. She still live in Haines City, and he used to go and meet her all the time. So now, as I'm thinking back from way back then, the misunderstanding and the situations and stuff her and my mother had, it stems from years ago. It
Right.
didn't
Right.
stem for a situation that happened later on in our life. It came way back when we were smaller because I remember her and she remembered me. But at the time, I just didn't get until I got older why it was so much animosity when it came to my mama.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that was something else too. But as we enjoyed ourselves, we stayed right next door to our cousin Miss Hat. She sold snacks. I used to run over there all the time, y'all, and get the hot pickles. I used to love the hot pickles. And then we had our cousins stayed next door to us, Marlon and Sham and Jeremy and Lisa. We grew up around them.
Right.
And
Right.
I
Right.
think across the street,
That was Aunt Gamma them across the street over.
Aunt Gamble and them stayed across there. Then on down the road, we had Yo Yo.
And
And
Mark
what was
Wright.
her brother name?
Of Greg.
What did we call
Boo
him?
Boo. Boo.
Boo Boo. It was Yo
Yeah.
Yo and Boo Boo. All us stayed on that road right there on Avenue M. But then as time go by, we moved away from Avenue M because it was just so
Yeah.
much
But
chaos going there
But,
at the
but
time.
before we even moved away from Avenue M, now you got to remember now we did a lot of back and forth traveling to Sodus, New York. We went to New Jersey because they at that time they was trafficking they were trafficking pounds and pounds of weed. So, you know, in the
Yeah, that
wintertime, you know, they'll go up there to pick apples and sell drugs at the same time while we was enrolled in school, because we went to school in Solus, New York, on that camp back in the days. And on that camp, man, it was crazy out there, because you know you had the outhouses. So we had to, when you had to use the bathroom, even if it's in the middle of the night, you had to go out there to the little outhouse out there to use the bathroom, and that shit didn't smell too good at all. You know what I'm saying?
See,
So
y'all always, you and Trish always talk about that. I got pictures when we was in New York, but I just never remember the time
yeah,
when I lived there. But I knew I
yeah.
was there because we got pictures to show that we was there.
Right. And you know, me and another guy named Randy, we ended up burning down the damn kitchen out there, playing with matches in the kitchen, and burned up the damn kitchen up there. So I remember one incident when we was up there, you know, all the kids up there, they got snow boots, they dress in all these snow gear. You know, we from Florida. I got on cowboy boots, so we go to the snowbank. We go to the snowbank downtown, and I'm down out there with my cowboy boots, got my little thin gloves on. I see everybody going down the bank on their slides. So I decided to go out there myself and go slide down the bank. Boom, I'm gone. Boom. The problem was trying to get back up. I'll see all the other kids with their little snow boots on, and they climbing back up the hill. And every time I try to climb back up, I'm sliding back down. But the problem was the cowboy boots, because you know that stuff ain't no grip there. So that day right there, I pretty much ruined the whole day because of the boots, and my feet was catching frostbite. So we had frostbite. So we had to go back to the house to warm me up at the fireplace, because I'm out there in the wrong gear. But you know, we from Florida, we don't know, you know, we out there with our cousin, with Scoop them and his kids, and man, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Back then,
Yeah.
it was real crazy. But you
But we
know,
enjoyed our childhood though.
yeah, we had a good childhood, man. Even though it was our parents were big time drug dealers, it wasn't no small stuff that they was playing with. You know, they was doing their thing. And eventually, right before, you know, some things happened that we're gonna get into, around by 81, they were like some of the first people to have kind of like cocaine rock, but it wasn't, you know, really popular, but it was getting to that level. Other than that, it was marijuana and cocaine powder at that time.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but on Avenue M, you know, we had all the fun a kid can have. We had every Christmas, we had whatever a kid can even think about. We never had a bad life, even though, you know, like I said, our parents were drug dealers. Now, one thing that I to this day that I think was real dangerous for us, when they used to go out um to the clubs or whatever the case may be, you remember they used to leave us home by ourselves and
Yeah,
tell us,
but they told us not to open the door.
yeah, man, if y'all hear anything, don't move, just lay down. Don't move, don't move at all.
But you wouldn't believe a lot of kids' parents did that back in the days.
Yeah, but you know,
Leave their kids.
in our situation, you know, the house getting robbed, and all this dangerous stuff going on, and you know, it would almost like carelessness. You know what I'm saying? But in that era, it was kind of safe a little bit in a way. You
Uh
know what
huh.
I'm saying? So I think that's kind of one of the reasons why they did that. So
But yeah, we was grew up. If somebody knocked, don't open that door.
right. Somebody not don't open that door. Don't do none of that stuff right there. You know, it got to a point where you know how they used to sell um that stuff back in the days, where they used to roll it up in the little yellow envelope and then write the number on it. So I end up seeing that stuff so much when people used to come to the door and ask for a certain package or whatever. I used to go get the envelopes and take them to the door and get the money through the screen
And
myself.
then back then it wasn't dime, it was nickels.
Yeah, it was more.
Money.
Yeah. It was on
Yeah.
nickel in the yellow envelopes. You know how they used to put it.
Uh-huh.
Then they used to use the triple beam scale. He had both. He had the triple beam, and then he had the one-sided beam scale. Back then, on how they used to bag that stuff up, man, it was kind of wild. You know, we had a wild, good, crazy life. And back then in the 80s, the most of the family stuck together really close. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Everybody, I don't know about everybody's family, but our family was really, really close back in the 80s.
Yeah,
Back,
because him and my auntie, Sugar Mama was very close because he used to take me up to Sugar Mama house all the time. When they stayed in Tangerine Circle,
right, right.
we used to go up there a lot.
Well,
Right.
before she even stayed in there, she stayed in Hilltop. Cause I stayed
Yeah,
going to Hilltop all the
yeah.
time.
I forgot they stayed in Hilltop.
Right,
Hmm.
right, right. So, from there. But from 80, from 79 all the way up to 81 was pretty good. A lot of drugs being sold, a lot of people coming to the house. Um, a lot of people coming to the house. I mean, like crazy, seeing people getting high. You know, we had this little dog. I forgot what we used to call the dog name. That was your little dog there, but that
I
dog used to
remember that
follow us
dog.
everywhere. Everywhere we
Yeah.
went, that dog followed us, man. Then they started getting the dog high. Then the dog started breaking in that running in the house, dragging drugs outside, all kind of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that dog was off the chain, but the dog it was a good puppy though. It was a good puppy.
Well,
So
what year
yeah.
did we move to Pauline Road?
The year that we moved on power line, it was in the year of at the end of 81, beginning of 82. Let me see. No, 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 no. 82. Yeah, yeah. At the beginning of 82. The end of 81 is when we moved out the power line, out the Parkview Village. That's when we moved out there. And the first apartment that we moved in, it was a yellow 4-bedroom apartment. But
Uh huh.
they thought that was a little bit too big. So what they ended up doing, we stayed in there by like a month. Um, and then we transitioned over to a three
It was
bedroom.
green. Wasn't it green?
It was a green
Them
apartment.
apartment was green. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Because
shot
back
on
in the days, it went by the colors. It was
right.
green, yellow, and blue. I think the
Both,
yellow ones were 4 bedrooms.
yeah.
The
The yellow
the
one was four.
uh
The green was a
the
three.
green ones was three, and then the blue ones was 2 bedrooms.
Right, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So
And you know, to us as kids, in the beginning, it was a great move because what they was trying to do is get us out of that drug infested environment. So,
hmm
new apartments, new place, new location, there's hardly nobody there. And you probably had maybe 10 people living out there at the time in them apartments, you know what I'm saying? So it was a good thing. But the flip side of that, looking back on it, that was one of the worst mistakes that
yeah,
they ever made. And then we was on that.
yeah.
So,
We was on that back road. Our apartment was on the back road. They thought it was best, but we should have stayed in the city because it was more eyes,
right,
more people.
right.
Yeah, to
And
see.
that wouldn't have went down the way it went down because it would have been too many people around to even notice it. You know what I'm saying? But back when we moved out there, we became isolated then. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So one of the things was they were trying to get out of that, and they didn't want nobody to know where we actually live. You know what I'm saying? But not thinking, he got his brother steady bringing people to the house. He's getting pissed off about that, and that would really kind of gave a lot of things away. You know what I'm saying? And then at one point, you remember we used to play this game with these pickle jars. You put the
With
little
that money
yeah, you drop the
and
quarters down
water.
there. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And if it lands in the cup, saying you win $1 or $5 or whatever the case may be. So
Hmm.
they had a lot of change from doing that. They had filled the jar, both jars up. One jar was full of silver money, one jar was full of pennies. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And yeah, that was a nice little game. Then someone broke in the house and stole the money.
And stole it. And all the time it was everybody that hung up under him.
Right, right,
Everybody
right,
that he fed, everybody he hung up, them was the one that was robbing him and turning against him.
right, right, right.
But
All
they
at the
still do
same
that
time.
to this day. Yeah.
Right. It was all out of jealousy, you know what I'm saying? And it was a couple of them that was really down with him. I know two of them that was really down with him. You know what I'm saying? Um, they were really down with him, but how things happen. You
Now the
can't.
only person I really knew that stayed around for a long time was RH.
Yeah,
I
Ari
remember
stayed around
RH.
forever,
Yeah,
and
RH stayed around for a long time.
and then Pound he was down pretty strong
Yeah,
too.
Pound. I remember Pound. I
Mhm.
remember RH and Pound. Out of all his friends, those really the only ones I remember is RH and Pound. Other people came around, but as me as a grown woman to this day, I only remember RH and Pound.
Right, right,
That's
right,
it.
right. Yeah, yeah. I remember all of them. I remember every last one of them, and I still see them to this day. You know what I'm saying? And they was pretty cool. You know, I can't say how faithful they was. You know what I'm saying? Because that's only for them to judge. But you know, I know those two. Besides our cousin Dusty, you know, Dusty was kind of in and out traveling with him and stuff like that. That's every now and then too. So, but
Right.
um, other than that, hey man. But you know, from there, once we moved out the power line, all this stuff happening within a 6 months, 3 or 4 month span of the thing that started to kick off. And I'm gonna let my sister go into leading that story, but I can tell you this just in case you forget. This all started the same night we used to go to this place called the auction in Haines City. And
I
uh,
remember the auction.
you remember the auction?
Yeah,
And
we
you
used to,
know,
you used to
a
have to hold
few,
the paddles up. If you want something, they give you paddles.
right, right,
You
right, right,
raise the paddle if you want it.
right,
So
right, 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 right. And I think it probably happened a few nights after that auction took place because you know we had got some few toys from that place, and you know the night that happened, me and you was outside at the front door when all this started to kick out. But I'm gonna let you tell that story because I think you say you have a you can you can you can detail it more than me. I think me and you kind of on the
but
same page.
every time I detail it, you be like, Nikki, you forgot this. So right now, y'all, we done took y'all from Haines City. Now we taking y'all to Power Line when everything turned upside down.
Right,
So at this time, we gonna walk. We gonna take a water break, and we gonna come back, and y'all got to walk a little bit farther with us. So
right, right.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay
Take a
tuned.
walk with me and my brother.
Right, right. But yeah, that's just an introduction of how our life was. But it's finna start to get really, really interesting here in a few minutes. Just hold on, be back, hit that like button, subscribe, and we out.
Okay.
All right, Nikki.
All right.